It's been years since we talked. You're still fighting.
Yeah,
Why?
it's hard to believe. Well, because they won't stop coming after me.
Today officially marks the end of the COVID public health emergency in the U.S.
It's been almost a year since the COVID pandemic was declared over.
This is the meeting of the Texas Medical Board.
Yet, the Texas Medical Board is still going after one doctor, Dr. Mary Bowden, looking to punish her for her medical opinion, her First Amendment rights.
This is weaponizing the medical board to silence me, to silence other doctors.
The Houston ear, nose, and throat doctor became a symbol of doctors across the country who dared to question Dr. Fauci or the COVID vaccine. She's among the doctors who believe that generic drugs already on the market could be used to save people, drugs like ivermectin.
I opened my doors and I've treated over 6,000 COVID patients. Everybody that got early treatment is alive and well.
Complaints to the Texas Medical Board can be anonymous, and they were in this case. But we now know that it wasn't patients who complained. It was hospitals, one of them Methodist.
They're the first hospital in the country to mandate the COVID shots.
And they were the hospital that fired desperately needed nurses who simply refused to take the COVID vaccine. Back then, when so many people were dying, speaking out was very risky.
On one single day, I tweeted out 25 times, vaccine mandates are wrong.
And that series of social media posts by Dr. Bowden made the bosses at Houston Methodist mad. Not only suspending her privileges there, they leaked the news to the Houston Chronicle, got the media all riled up. The story went global.
Traumatic for me. I mean, it's still an issue. It's still something I deal with. It's affected my business. It's definitely affected my reputation.
There was another hospital mad at Dr. Bowden, too.
I'm on a mission to save my husband's life.
Erin Jones sued Texas Health Euclid Hospital because they refused to let her sick husband get ivermectin. A lawyer asked Dr. Bowden to be an expert witness.
They're basically making it sound like I marched into the hospital and wrote orders on his chart for ivermectin, which is not the case whatsoever.
The Tarrant County deputy sheriff got out of the hospital, but he later died.
I was just trying to fight for a patient, and that's what most doctors should have done, but they didn't. But I'm getting persecuted for it.
The Texas Medical Board did give Dr. Bowden a way out, a $5,000 fine, retake an exam, and 8 hours of community service.
Slap on the wrist if you just say, you're right and I'm wrong. She won't do that because she wants to take a stand on principle.
The fight with the Texas Medical Board is now in the hands of a Texas administrative law judge. That's the first step when a state agency comes after you. For those who don't know, administrative law judges aren't elected, they're hired. And the first ALJ in this case, well, she's drawn the ire of Dr. Bowden and her lawyers.
We have a judge who is coming in with a partisan agenda. And so we're concerned about our ability to get a fair trial there.
That first judge on the case was Rochelle Robles, who graduated from UC Berkeley. Her law school, University of California in San Francisco, both liberal education strongholds. And Bowden's lawyers blasted her rulings.
She's not letting us bring our expert to testify, but she is allowing the board to bring a flack who used to work for the medical board and is now a purported independent expert.
A second administrative law judge, Linda Burgess, has now joined the case against Bowden. More taxpayer money, but at least she got her education at Notre Dame and the University of Oklahoma. But why waste any more tax money on what is clearly a First Amendment issue? A second ALJ has been added, but Dr. Bowden is worried she won't get a fair shake.
This is about a raw exercise of power by unelected bureaucrats that want to get between you and your doctor. That's what they want to do. The good news is that we can appeal. We can appeal to a district court and ultimately to the Texas Supreme Court, and we trust that the Texas Supreme Court will ultimately do the right thing.
Dr. Bowden has never been sued for medical malpractice, but you can't say the same for some members of the Texas Medical Board. Stay tuned. This will get interesting.